Please help me to reach 1,000 subscribers. I never imagined a year of silence could carry so much weight, but here I am, staring at my phone, still trying to process the call I just received. My name's Ethan, I'm 32, and for most of my adult life, I thought I understood relationships, love, and what it meant to truly commit. But apparently I didn't. Not at all. A year ago she walked out of my life like it was nothing. Her name was Clara. We had been together for 7 years, living together for 5, building what I thought was a future brick by brick. I wasn't perfect, far from it, but I loved her in the way I thought mattered most. Quietly, steadily, without making a scene. I never raised my voice. I never begged. I never demanded attention. I simply showed up, every single day, in the small, unnoticed ways that I believed counted. When she left, I didn't fight her. I didn't scream. I didn't even try to make her stay. I stayed quiet. I let her move on, convinced that if she truly cared, she'd come back, or at the very least, that I could survive the pain with dignity. At the time, my friends thought I was being naive. They said, "Man, you're letting her go too easily. Show her she can't just walk out like that." But I didn't listen. I had my own rules, my own moral code, and at that moment, my heart refused to bend. Clara had left for a man she claimed understood her better. Or maybe it wasn't a man, it was freedom, adventure, a chance to rewrite her life without me in it. Either way, she walked away, smiling, confident, and I stayed quiet. I retreated into my routines, my work, and the quiet life we once shared. For months, I didn't hear from her. No messages, no calls, no trace. I wondered sometimes if she'd ever look back. But every time I imagined it, I forced myself to remember why she left in the first place. Because she couldn't appreciate the quiet strength she had always had beside her. I told myself, let her go, let her live, let her learn. And I believed I was strong enough to keep that promise to myself. Life moved forward in subtle ways. My mornings became predictable. Coffee at 6, a long run through the park, meetings that blurred into each other. I found solace in routines, in things I could control. Nights were harder. They carried the echoes of her laughter, the memory of her hand in mine, the warmth of her presence that had once been my anchor. I never texted. I never reached out. I didn't post about my feelings, I didn't seek validation, I didn't announce my pain. I simply stayed quiet. And then, exactly 1 year later, my phone rang. Her name flashed across the screen, and for a brief moment, I felt the old familiar surge of anxiety, confusion, and something I couldn't name. Part of me wanted to let it go to voicemail. Part of me wanted to pick up and demand answers. But I picked up because curiosity and restraint rarely coexist for long. Her voice was softer than I remembered, tinged with hesitation and the faint tremor of vulnerability. "Ethan," she said, I made a mistake." She paused and I didn't speak. My heart strangely didn't leap or sink. I simply waited. "I made a huge mistake. You were always the one. I just didn't realize it until now." The line went quiet. I could hear her breathing, deliberate, careful. I remembered how many times we had fought over small things, how many nights I had stayed silent when she lashed out, how many arguments I had defused by simply listening instead of reacting. I had stayed quiet, not out of fear or weakness, but out of love that didn't need to be loud. And now, finally, she was acknowledging it. I didn't respond immediately. Part of me wanted to relish the moment, to let her words sink in, to watch her regret unfold like a carefully constructed confession. But I didn't. I let silence hang between us, heavy and deliberate. That silence carried more weight than any argument, any pleading, any attempt to fix what was broken a year ago. She continued, "I thought moving on would make me happier. I thought leaving was the answer. But it wasn't. None of it was. I should have appreciated you, all the little things you did that I never noticed. I let you go and I can't take it back." Her words were familiar in their remorse, yet alien in their timing. A year too late, but perhaps the only time she could speak them honestly. I could feel the emotions in her voice, the hesitation, the raw vulnerability. And I realized then, more clearly than ever, that staying quiet had been my power all along. My silence had preserved my dignity, my composure, and ultimately my self-respect. I had survived her departure without losing myself. For the first time in 12 months, I allowed myself to speak. Not to argue, not to accuse, not to beg her to stay. I simply said, "I heard you." The words were simple, almost mundane, but they carried the weight of all the quiet months, all the unseen nights, all the unsaid feelings that had built up into this moment. There was a pause on the other end. She swallowed audibly. I don't expect anything," she said finally. I needed you to know that. I needed you to hear me say it." I called because I couldn't carry it anymore. I stayed quiet again. My quiet wasn't bitterness. It wasn't revenge. It was clarity. 1 year of reflection had taught me that some things could not be fixed with words alone, that some mistakes are irreversible, and that sometimes, love doesn't demand noise, it demands patience, dignity, and self-respect. And in that moment I realized, staying quiet wasn't a weakness. It had been my strength all along.